This question is so important. This is one of the first things that I ask an individual or couple in my private coaching when they come back after a week and tell me that they had a really hard week. So maybe they were fighting a lot, or maybe they were just feeling super disconnected. Whatever it is, my question is always the same. The question is, how is your love account? It honestly is probably 100% of the time that they say to me, it is not very full, or even that it's empty. Today, I want to talk about why the love account is so important, what the love account even is, and what you can do to fill it, because it is a game changer. I'm Lindsay, this is Loving with Intention, and we are diving right in. As we do. So the love account, the Gottman Institute calls this the emotional bank account, but I call it the love account for short. And it truly changes everything in our relationships. So here's the thing. When couples are struggling, so often, people might think that the answer is to just talk more or spend more time together or get better at communicating or even find solutions. So you might be surprised that the first question I ask them is how their love account is. Instead of diving into what their arguments were about that week or why they were feeling so disconnected, what caused the disconnection, I start with, how is your love account? Because when your love account is running on empty, it impacts everything, how you connect, how you listen, how you handle tough conversations, and so much more. If we dive straight into talking about what the arguments were about or what caused the disconnection, it would be like trying to fix the car's engine without checking if there's even gas in the tank. It won't run no matter how much tinkering you do with the engine because there's no gas in the tank. So let's dive into what the love account is all about, and then we'll get to, obviously, how you fill it. Imagine your relationship is like a bank account. Every positive interaction that you have, whether it's a kind word, a thoughtful gesture, a moment of appreciation, this is like making a small deposit in the account. So just like in life, with a bank account, withdrawals are inevitable. They're going to happen. These withdrawals in your relationship are moments of stress or conflict. Maybe you ignored your partner, maybe they ignored you, maybe one of you is being defensive, critical, shutting down, you're feeling hurt, not wanting to talk about things, everyday irritations that happen in every relationship, and this list goes on. So these withdrawals are going to happen. So quick recap, we've got a love account, we have got deposits, we have got withdrawals. Picture your love account with a whole bunch of deposits in it. You and your partner have been regularly filling the love account with small positive moments, whether it is a smile in the morning or a kiss goodbye, a genuine compliment, showing interest in them when they're sharing with you, even listening to them vent after a really hard day. You're building up a cushion in your love account, a cushion of positive deposits. Now, something irritating happens. Maybe your partner says something and you feel triggered and you snap at them and then they shut down. These are withdrawals, but because you've got this great cushion of deposits, your account can handle these withdrawals. You're able to reconnect. You're able to move through things. You are way more resilient. But what if your love account is low and neither of you have been making these small deposits? Then the same argument, the same snap, it happens, but this time there's no cushion. Your account is empty. So when conflict comes up, it feels harder. It feels like sharper. It feels more personal. Every word, every hurt feels more painful. And instead of moving through it, you stay totally stuck. You stay disconnected. You keep fighting. So this is why I always start by asking, how is your love account? The difference it makes is freaking huge. I realize I feel like really jacked and excited to talk about the love account today because it's so important. I talk about it all the time in my relationship. It is truly about making small, consistent deposits of love and kindness. And the Gottman Institute calls these things small things often. That is like the Gottman Institute's motto. These small things often build stability in your relationship. The more deposits that you make, the more resilient your relationship becomes. Have you ever had a really hard day with your partner and you tried to make a joke and then they took it the wrong way? If your love account was full that day, that same joke might still sting, but they're more likely to see your best intentions. They're more likely to bring it up in a gentle way, have you hear them, and then you move through it together without a big blow up or a total shutdown. But if your account is empty, even the smallest thing can send you into a huge spiral. And per the Gottman Institute, who is like, just the masters of relationship research and relationship growth, the goal in our love accounts, in our relationships, is to have a 20-to-1 ratio of positive to negative interactions for a thriving relationship. So this is for a thriving relationship, 20-to-1 deposits to withdrawals. So for every one withdrawal, every one challenging thing that happens, we want 20 positives. And it is a 5-to-1 ratio for a moderately happy relationship. When we start to see ratios less than that, so 4-to-1, 3-to-1, 2-to-1, 1-to-1, we see more conflict, more disconnection, more tension in the relationship, more easily getting triggered, more assuming the worst of your partner, more seeing all of the bad things that are happening in the relationship because you're running on a low account. There ain't no gas in the tank. And consistently low ratios actually show higher rates of separation and divorce, which makes so much sense. If you're both running on empty, things are not feeling good. And I know when I say 20-to-1, often people are like, what? That is a lot of positives to be doing. So it definitely seems like a lot, and these things don't have to be big, but we're going to talk about that more. The reason that we need 20-to-1 is because our brains, our nervous systems have a negativity bias. It is literally your nervous system, your brain is scanning all the time, looking for threats, wanting to keep you safe. So some examples of this out in real life. So imagine you get this glowing review at work and 9 people say to you, oh my gosh, you've been so amazing lately. You've really handed everything in on time. You are really helping make the energy around the workspace so much better. And then one person says something like, you haven't been pulling your weight. Even though your feedback is overwhelmingly positive, there were these 9 people with just this absolutely glowing review. You will likely find yourself replaying that one critical comment over and over and start questioning things, questioning your ability, because your brain is scanning for threats. So that one negative comment is standing out way bigger than all those positives. And another example of this, just because I really want to make it so clear of what our brain is doing for us, is say you have a dinner party and everyone is like, this food is amazing. Oh my goodness. The energy is great. The atmosphere is great. Everything looks so great. You put so much effort into this. We love this. And then one person there mentions that the dessert was too sweet. And then they mention that the color scheme doesn't really go well. So despite all of the compliments and everyone else loving it, it's very likely that you're going to dwell on that one comment that they made. And you might start feeling like you failed as a host. These negative things are really amplified in our brains. If we look at that second example with the dinner party, when you focus on them saying that the dessert was too sweet or that the color scheme didn't go, that is your brain trying to protect you. So way back, our ancestors had to be hyper alert, looking for potential threats, a rustle in the bushes, or maybe a fruit that looked a little bit different than all of the other fruits. We're hyper alert to these things because missing something negative could literally mean danger or death. That could be a cougar in the bushes. It could be that that piece of fruit is rotten, it is toxic, it is going to do harm. So we are wired to look for threats. So in the case of your lovely dinner party, your brain, noticing that too sweet comment about your dessert, sees it as a social threat. And then you might start thinking, what if my dessert wasn't good enough? What if people didn't enjoy the whole meal? Could this hurt my relationships with these people? Could it hurt my reputation? Are people going to see me in a different way? By zeroing in on the criticism, your brain believes it is helping you avoid making the same quote unquote mistake in the future, keeping you safe from rejection or embarrassment or whatever those feelings are. Your brain and your nervous system are truly trying to take care of you. And it's actually a little overblown because the risk isn't actually life-threatening anymore. 99% of your guests love the evening. Bless your brain, bless your nervous system for taking care. So I hope that that paints a picture of why we need these 20-to-1 positives. So we are circling back to your relationship and why we need 20-to-1, because the positives have to be plentiful in order to outshine the hard stuff that happens in your relationship. Your brain is going to see those hard moments between you and your partner as huge threats. The hard stuff is going to feel bigger and bigger. We need all of those positives, those deposits, so that our brain has lots of evidence that there's love and safety in our relationship. So when my clients come to me and they share that they've had a hard week with lots of fighting or with disconnection, I want to check in. Have you been filling the love account? Have you been doing small things often? When they say no, it is a great moment to recommit to pouring that love into your relationship, to prioritizing and nurturing your relationship. And so innocently, this happens that we put our relationship last on our priority list. We are so busy with life and maybe kids, and maybe we're going to school or hobbies, activities, kids' activities, all of the things. There are so many things. And our relationship is sort of like the constant. So it makes sense that it kind of ends up just being at the end of the priority list. And then by the end of the day, we're freaking exhausted and we're putting in so much less into our relationship. This can happen so innocently, and it is so common. So bringing in lots of love for yourself if you're noticing that it is kind of at the priority list, at the end of your priority list. And we're going to talk about things that fill the love account, and there are some very, very impactful small things. And as you are listening or watching on YouTube, I invite you to ask yourself, have we been doing these things? And if the answer is no, again, so much love and compassion. And the good news is that you're here and you can literally start doing these things today. There is so much hope for everything to shift. So I'm going to share some really impactful love account fillers, and just know that I deep dive into way more of these and get really specific on how to dive into them within your own relationship. I do this in my love journey process with my clients and in my new self-paced program, Relationship Recharge, which is actually launching this week for Black Friday. So I'm so excited about that. This episode is coming out on November 25th. 2024. So you can still hop on the wait list for this new program. So it's launching with Black Friday pricing, which is amazing. And if you are on the wait list, you will get an early bird discount on top of the Black Friday pricing. So that is super exciting. Clearly, the wait list is the place to be for the old double discount. And the link for that is in the show notes to hop on the wait list. And oh gosh, we just dive into so much in the love journey process. I'm so excited to be offering it in a self-paced program, as you can see or hear. So, all right, circling back, one incredibly high impact way to fill the love account, to connect with your partner, is a 6-second kiss. In 6 seconds of your lips touching, I don't care what it looks like. You can literally just be touching your lips. In 6 seconds, your body releases oxytocin, which is the bonding hormone, the love hormone. It deepens your connection. And in 6 seconds, your cortisol decreases. So this is your stress hormone. It literally, 6 seconds of lips touching literally activates your parasympathetic nervous system and helps your body relax. You can literally feel it. Like when I do this with my partner, just 6 seconds, after that 6 seconds, you can feel, you just kind of sink into it. It feels so good. It is so connecting. And you can make this fun. You can count to 6. Like my partner and I will do that sometimes. And if we have a quick kiss, it's like, that wasn't 6 seconds. You can come back in and make it 6 seconds. This is such a quick way to fill the love account. And a 20-second hug does the same thing. So increases your oxytocin, decreases your cortisol in 20 seconds of a hug. So maybe hugs aren't happening, or maybe they're super quick. When you really drop in, sink in, feel that hug, 20 seconds, your literal physiology is changing so that you are more connected, more relaxed. It is amazing. And if you're listening to this and you're like, we don't even kiss or hug at all, there are lots of other places that you can start, and you can work your way there if it feels good. So we're going to talk about more ways. And I really love the 6-second kiss and the 20-second hug, because so often people will say, we don't have time to connect. We barely even see each other, which makes so much sense. Life is so busy and full. And if you got 26 seconds, there is time to connect. So that is beautiful and inspiring, because we often think that we have to create so much time. But the things I'm sharing today don't take much time at all. So yay for that. And the next way to fill the love account, there are so many ways. Let's talk about appreciation. Thank yous. I noticed the other morning, and I posted this on Instagram, loving.with.intention. If you're not following me, it's a fun place over there. I noticed the other morning that my partner and I had said thank you to each other more than 10 times within the first hour of being awake. So this is something that we are super intentional about in our relationship, even if it is things that we do every day. So if I make coffee, he says thank you. I often will say thank you for thanking me. I say thank you if he brings me water. I say thank you when he makes me breakfast. If I hop up and unload the dishwasher, he will say thank you for me doing that. We are just in this flow of thank yous, and it feels so good. We feel appreciated in those moments. We feel seen. It is so easy in our relationships for things to just become routine. Like I said, things sort of end up being at the end of the priority list for our relationships, and appreciation is definitely one of those things. So it is so common to fall into the routine of not saying these things anymore. And, maybe sometimes we think that our partner just knows that we appreciate it, or maybe it feels really repetitive to say it over the same thing day after day. Maybe we've just fallen out of the routine and now it feels really uncomfortable to start saying thank you or I appreciate you. So just noticing what comes up when you think about that. And often I do hear from clients that saying thank you to their partner doesn't feel right to them. So I've heard from many people that, it doesn't feel right to say thank you when they unload the dishwasher, or thank you when they make dinner or do the dishes, because those are things that just need to be done. And maybe even in your relationship, you have agreements of who does what. So it's like, I know I'm supposed to do that thing, or they're going to do that thing. So it doesn't feel right to say thank you. So this is where I invite just considering a language change. So just using the words instead, I appreciate. So instead of saying thank you for doing the dishes, I appreciate, just showing that appreciation, because it's not just about the task being completed. It's acknowledging that, your partner is putting in effort and intention in doing that task, even if it is something that they've agreed to do. It's their quote unquote job, whatever that thing is. You are expressing gratitude. It keeps that flow of appreciation in your relationship. You're filling the love account. Even if those tasks are quote unquote expected in a sense, the effort behind them is real. And recognizing that effort helps your partner feel seen and cared for. And that is absolutely essential for closeness and emotional safety and a thriving relationship. And there are actually a few sweet bonus effects of giving appreciation and saying thank you in your relationship. One thing is it reinforces the behavior of your partner. I know that my partner appreciates when I make us coffee in the morning and he expresses that to me, I am so much more likely. I know I do it. I do it more. I look forward to doing it because I know that it's something that he appreciates now. So expressing appreciation to your partner means you'll likely see more of that thing that they're doing. If you don't acknowledge it, they might not know it even impacts your day or your life. They might not feel seen. It might just become something that they don't do anymore. And also, so many things with appreciation. Saying thank you and I appreciate you is a moment of connection. It is a way to pause and give love. And one appreciation, one thank you might not seem that big of a deal, but when you do it consistently, it's got this cumulative effect. It builds up. Remember, these deposits into the love account, we want to build this cushion of love to create security and safety and so much goodness in our relationship. So every appreciation you give is a deposit. And when we know that we want 20-1 deposits to withdrawals for a thriving relationship, this is a pretty quick way to rack up deposits. And that is such a beautiful thing. And another bonus effect, because they just keep coming when it comes to giving appreciation in your relationship, is showing appreciation for routine tasks shifts your mindset. I did a recent episode on the reticular activating system, your RAS, which I will link in the show notes and pop at the end of the YouTube video so you can check that out. The RAS is your brain's little filter that shows you what's important to you. So when you focus on expressing gratitude, you're telling your brain, you're telling your RAS, seeing things to be grateful for, expressing gratitude is important to me. So then your RAS is going to show you those things. You're going to start noticing more things to appreciate from your partner rather than getting caught up in what's not working or maybe what they're not doing or what feels frustrating in your relationship. It helps build a culture of positivity in your relationship. This doesn't mean ignoring issues or concerns. It is just about creating harmony in your relationship, which feels so good, so good. Being intentional about love and appreciation and gratitude, showing each other respect in all of these ways. It helps you sort of outweigh the struggles, and it helps you talk about the struggles like we talked about with the love account. So we've got a 6-second kiss, we've got a 20-second hug, we've got appreciation, and I will share one more love account filler. And this one is all about having a tone of love, a loving tone, and loving facial expressions. Nonverbal cues play a huge role in how we connect and communicate in our relationships. And you might notice that you have this light, ease-filled energy about you when you are with your friends or with your coworkers. It feels playful. There's lots of laughing. You have like soft facial features. And then maybe when you walk through the door, that changes, that shifts. You feel tense, so your face reflects that, and your tone of voice reflects that. And it makes so much sense if this happens if things are hard in your relationship. Of course, that makes sense. You're not in that safe, loving environment anymore. And if you can be intentional about bringing in some softness, some love with your facial expressions, with your tone, it can make a really huge difference. So that is another way to fill the love account. And there are things like, oh my gosh, so many things. Love languages, turning towards bids for connection, intentional reunions and departures, so much more. But I think that I will save those. Yes, I will save those for another episode because this could be hours long. And we're gonna wrap up pretty soon. But just know there are so many ways to fill the love account, and it can be a lot easier to dive into this when you find the things that feel quote unquote easier than maybe some of the other things. And you honestly might be listening to this and thinking these things all feel really hard. Or maybe it's that they feel awkward or uncomfortable because you're not used to doing them. So uncomfortable makes sense because if it is not something that you're used to doing, change feels uncomfortable. And when you start to do it, it actually just becomes the norm. So if you can lean into the uncomfortable, that is so amazing. And also, I know that you might be thinking, I don't want to do these things because my partner's being a jerk. Or these are all of the things that I wish that they would do for me. This makes all of the sense in the whole entire world. And I totally get it because in the hard days of my relationship, the last thing I wanted to do after a streak of arguing or fighting was apologize to my partner or show him appreciation. I was hurting and he had things to apologize for. I wanted to hear what he appreciated. I know this is hard. So today, I invite you to ask yourself, how are things feeling right now in your relationship? Does your love account feel full? Is what you've been doing working to help you have a thriving relationship? And if the answer is yes, that is amazing. That is amazing. And likely if the answer is yes, it won't be hard to add in some of these love account fillers and aim for that 5-to-1 ratio for a moderately happy relationship, or go big and go for that 20-to-1 for a thriving relationship. And if you check in, if the answer is that things haven't been feeling that good and what you've been doing in your relationship hasn't left you feeling loved and seen and appreciated, if you've been finding that you've been feeling disconnected or that you've been fighting a lot, or you're feeling like roommates in your relationship, just going through the motions, I'm sending so much love. Always, always, always. I learned in my relationship and when I'm working with clients, change requires going first, even when it's hard. If you wait for your partner to go first with any of these things, you literally might be waiting forever. Loving with intention means, I feel like that's like a ding, ding, ding moment. Loving with intention means going first, committing to doing whatever it takes to have a thriving relationship. That is how we get out of the power struggle in relationships. It is what my individual clients find and what I found in my relationship. When we pour into the love account in the right ways, our partner starts to feel loved. They start to feel appreciated. They start to feel seen. And then we get the love that we've been wanting because that is the freaking ripple effect that is the coolest. This is how we can inspire change and create the change that we want to see. I feel like my voice just cracked because I got excited or emotional, or I'm just so passionate about creating the change. So remember that the love account brings connection. It creates a safer space to have hard conversations. It makes it easier to repair when you're feeling hurt. This is one piece of the relationship growth puzzle, and it's a big piece. Pouring into the love account with consistency actually creates change. Consistency, though, is really key, because what a lot of people do is, read Instagram posts or maybe listen to a podcast like this and just do these things. So just do appreciation for a few days and then go back to old patterns, or do 1 6-second kiss and go back to old patterns, which makes sense because old patterns are so well worn. And when we do this, it leaves us feeling like filling the love account doesn't work, which isn't true, because it's about consistency. We get to be consistent. So I am cheering you on from afar. You have got this. And remember that my new self-paced program launches this week, and you can get a double discount if you hop on the waitlist before the launch, November 29th. Relationship Recharge is absolutely relationship changing, and you will experience my love journey process, which deep dives into the love account, which is one of the 3 pillars of my relationship, or my love journey process, my relationship process, my love journey process. One of the pillars is the commitment keys, and the love account is part of the commitment keys. And then you'll also get, obviously, the other 2 pillars, so healing and changing patterns and nervous system love, because these 3 pillars together are everything you need to create a happier, more connected, loving, appreciation-filled relationship. Truly, 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 whether you dive into this program with your partner or not, you will see change. I'm so excited for this. So you can head to the link in the show notes to get on the wait list. I would love to hear your thoughts or questions on the love account or this episode in the comments below. And your intentional action for this week is to choose a love account filler and commit to doing it with consistency in your relationship. And just check in with yourself at the end of the week. How do things feel? What have you noticed in your relationship? Filling the love account changes everything. And we got to start somewhere. So you are so amazing for starting here, for diving in, and I'm sending so much love into your week. Remember that nothing changes if nothing changes. So let's have an intentional week. Bye.